Same old England. Same old England, man. England knocked out of the World Cup at the semi-final stage against Argentina. Lionel Messi with 2 assists. Yeah, this one's gonna hurt a lot of people's feelings. I can't lie to you. A lot of people are in their feelings. Some people are very angry with Tuchel. Some are angry with the players. Some are angry with both. Some are angry with Messi. For what reason? I don't know. He just did messy things, man. There's nothing we can possibly do about it, guys. We're gonna get into all of it. We're gonna talk about both teams. Let me know your thoughts after that game. How are you feeling as an England fan? You know, if you're not even an England fan, just how are you feeling after watching that game? Did Argentina deserve it? Did England deserve to go out? Drop your thoughts, man. Drop your thoughts. Yeah, man, it's peak. It is peak. It is peak, man. Again, we're here again. We're here again, man. All jokes aside, yeah. Listen, I can sit here do banter all day long if I really wanted to, and I probably should. I probably should for all the stuff that I've heard throughout this entire tournament, and even prior to the tournament. I should really do that, but I'm not going to. Right? Listen, ultimately, it's as I said before. England, we're here again. Same old England. It's never different. You come up against good opposition. You come up against opposition that on paper, probably, I mean, some people say England have a better team, but Argentina are probably the better team in overall context, the World Cup, winners or holders, should I say, sorry. England not, and also England kind of coming into this tournament, it's a bit of an unknown with a new manager, kind of new players, some players not really been there and etc. etc. But if we're just looking at this game in isolation, I think the main thing, and listen, sometimes I don't like boiling things down to just one moment and one thing, but in games like this, these things can really change the trajectory. It's obviously the substitutions, man. I've really, like, it just killed England. Like, don't get it twisted. When England went 1-0 up, I didn't feel that they were ever going to hold on anyway. Kind of thing. I always felt England did need a second goal because, listen, both teams weren't really playing that great anyway. Argentina, as you guys can see, had the lion's share of the possession, in the game, obviously spiked up by the last, 10, 15 minutes, of that game. But they did have more of that possession. I can't really call anybody the better team, to be honest with you. England, yeah, they got the goal. They got the goal. Kind of lucky, if I'm being honest with you, because it kind of came out of nothing. But listen, you got the goal. And I think from that moment, and we'll talk about England in a second, but from that moment on, I just always thought they need a second. That's not to say I'm guaranteeing or I think, oh, yeah, 100% Argentina are going to score. I just think if you're trying to make this game a bit more comfortable, you're going to need that second goal because obviously they've got Lionel Messi in the team. Lautaro Martinez is obviously coming on. You still got Julian Alvarez, Enzo Fernandez, McAllister. Like, yo, they can get goals from anywhere kind of thing. Whereas England, I feel, as much as Gordon was the one who scored it, as I said, it kind of came from nowhere. Your top players, the Bellinghams, the Harry Kanes, didn't look like they were going to have a sniff kind of thing in the game. So it was like, don't really know kind of thing. I really don't know where that goal is necessarily going to come from, but you just do need that second goal. But once you, would I say it doesn't look likely that it is coming, I think that's where the manager and his substitutions really played a massive factor. Real massive factor. Ultimately bringing on all those defenders, it would have made sense if this was the last 5 minutes of the game. I think people would have understood that a lot more than you bringing these subs on in the God knows what minute that was that he brought these subs on, and then going to that kind of back five. Now you got Dan Burn in there, so we already know what that means. Is I get maybe you're thinking, so to speak, in regards to you're bringing on a Dan Burn because of all the crosses that might come into the box. I don't think it's ever that deep. I'm going to be honest with you. Like I don't feel like having Dan Burn there. If that's what all you was going to use him for this throughout this tournament, I don't even feel like that was even worth the time. You could have brought Harry Maguire. You could have done the exact same thing. You could have brought any other centre back. I feel like they all could have done the exact same thing. Like you didn't do anything that was out ordinary or unordinary. Where I'm like, yeah, no other centre back could do that same kind of job. So yeah, there's obviously that. But yeah, like I said, kind of killed them. And listen, people talk a lot about Lionel Messi, and listen, rightly so. Like, obviously, he's the greatest player ever to have lived. In my personal opinion, like ultimately, he only needed those two opportunities to set up an assist. First one, I mean, he just passed it to Enzo Fernandez. Second one, again, good work from Messi. It's just Messi. But I kept saying, in the game, there were moments like before even England had even scored. I remember thinking, now, whereas in the first half, when Messi was getting the ball, Elliot Anderson or Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham, Harry Kane, they were pressing him really, really well, and kind of suffocating him, in that kind of sense. In the second half, you're only going to get this if you've watched Messi for a long, long time, right? So like, I've watched him since his debut up until today, right? You could just tell that something had just changed in the game context anyway for Lionel Messi, right? So now all those moments that wasn't working before, now he's doing body feints. Now he's skipping past a couple players. Now those little like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like those little kind of like dribbles that he kind of does, like in between players. I'm talking like in between like three players when he does those kind of like little neat drip, close ball control. Now it's working. When I started seeing that kicking, I said, "Eesh, this brother's gonna he's locked in now. Whether he scores or assists or whatever, I don't know, but he's locked in." Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he's going to be super unlucky. And then obviously they hit the post with McAllister's header kind of thing. I think there was a shot from Enzo Fernandez that Pickford obviously saves. So I was like, ooh, okay. Yeah, maybe this is what I'm thinking, is that, it's just going to be one of those unlucky where he still locks in, but it just doesn't amount to anything. But listen, man, you can't keep a man like him down, man. You really, really can't, man. Absolutely great, great, great. And he was always going to have a say in some way, shape, or form. And guess what? 2 assists, he did that shit. He absolutely did that shit, man. But looking at England, listen, look, I think lineup wise, any problems? Nah, not really. I mean, you got Jed Spence there in that left back. You got Reece James, Stones, Gay. Can't think of anyone else actually. I think some people maybe thought about maybe Ezri Konza potentially could have come in, maybe, but I feel like okay. Rice, Anderson, but we'll talk about those two in a sec. Rogers was the one where I was a bit surprised. I was a little bit surprised. Maybe he wanted to obviously to make it a bit more compact and a bit more congested in that middle of the park to give England a few more players in there, kind of thing, because obviously we'll have Bellingham almost playing a bit further forward, every now and again dropping in, but a bit further forward in that sense, in terms of maybe even beyond a Harry Kane. Maybe you do need like a Rodgers in there, someone who's comfortable playing in those central areas. Fair enough. So yeah. I mean, calm. Like I said, maybe I would have played Madueke potentially instead of a Rodgers. But listen, Rodgers got the assist for Anthony Gordon, so clearly that game plan kind of worked. And listen, at the beginning of the game for England, I felt like what they were trying to do, it kind of did work in a sense, in terms of, listen, Argentina wanted to, they're niggly fouls and constantly stopping the game, stopping the rhythm, stopping the flow. And England know ultimately we're not going to have possession here in these kind of games. What we do need to do is we need to be very decisive, when we do have the ball. I'm not even necessarily saying about shots and goals. It's just we need to be more decisive in our actions, in what we're trying to do. They did okay at that, like okay at best. Do you get what I'm saying? It wasn't great or anything like that. Not to say Argentina was, but England, it was all right. I mean, nothing too crazy. The midfield too, though. This Rice and Anderson thing, to me, it just never made no sense. Even from the beginning of the tournament when they first faced off against Croatia. Do you get what I'm saying? Like all the way back then. Even then, I was like, you don't need two of the same player, like in the middle of the park. It just doesn't make any sense to me. The only way you would need something like that is almost as if you're saying effectively, Reece James, like we'll just use this lineup as an example, right? Reece James, Jed Spence, and the entire front four, they're going to basically be an attack themselves. And we're going to use Rice and Anderson as almost like, okay, they're going to slot back into defense, and then we'll have a 4-man defense. So it's almost like having 4 and 6 kind of thing. You get what I mean? Like, but it never really worked out in that kind of way. Declan Rice obviously would drop in at times, Anderson again at times, but then they're just dropping in with the rest of the kind of back line. So then you're not really having anybody in the midfield at times. Other times you have people in the midfield, but again, You've got two of the same kind of midfielder players who don't really want to play the pass forward because that's not really their game. They're two players who kind of they're kind of two players who they're there really to just mop up play, and they're not that great on the ball as it is. So you're like you're there to really kind of mop up play to get in the other midfield, so Argentina's midfield, whether that be McAllister or Enzo Fernandez or whatever. You're trying to get in their faces. You're trying to, pressure, and you're trying to use that Premier League intensity, right? And it just never really made sense. I was like, you don't need both of them to do that. I feel like one can do that. You can get another midfield in, Kobe Mainu. Do you know what I mean? Someone who is very good at driving forward with the ball, but also there's driving forward with the ball, but when you some players where when they drive forward with the ball, because they're not very good on the ball, that drive forward is always like it seems very forced. Yeah, I mean, and I feel like with these two, that's what it always looks like. That it just looks like it's quite forced. Not to say that they can't every now and again do something, but it's very forced. Kobe Mainu, you can see he's a natural at doing that. When he does drive forward and he does get into those areas, it's not nosebleed settings. These two, it's nosebleed. Do you get what I'm saying? Like it's always been that way. I don't care what Arsenal did. I don't care what Elliot Anderson did last season. They get nosebleeds when they get in those kind of areas. It will only get pulled off every now and again. But Kobe Mainu is not that type of player. He is someone, he's comfortable in those kind of areas. He wants to be able to drive forward. He can drop a shoulder here and there. And when he does get into those areas, I feel like he's got a better footballing mind in that kind of area to understand what he needs to potentially do next. I feel like that was kind of missing. Harry Kane was absolutely shit. I didn't really feel like he was good at all. I didn't really feel like he offered anything, especially when England went 1-0 up. Take him off. Why the hell are you keeping him on? He's slow. Fantastic player, by the way. It's got nothing to do with him as a player. But he's slow. The reality is he is kind of slow. So with him being slow, you have no outlet. Jude isn't not the fastest either. And Jude isn't making those runs beyond him. So guess what? Now you really have no one there. Gordon's just doing the pressing stuff. Rodgers ain't doing anything. At that point, I'm surprised he even got such a rating in a guy. Like he didn't do anything other than the assist. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like that, I don't think that they provided anything, and I do think that's the only reason why their scores are like that. If I'm being totally honest with you, but outside of that, I don't remember them doing anything of note, kind of thing. So, yeah, listen, I don't think the performance was good from England, even from an individual kind of basis. Maybe Jed Spence, actually, to be fair, maybe him. I felt like, yeah, him against Simeone. From what I can remember, yeah, I felt like he was all right, actually. So he'd be the one I would say was the best England player that I can remember. Everyone else I thought was actually just rubbish. Just offered nothing, did nothing. You're just chasing shadows half the time, and you're not even doing your own job really properly and stuff like that. And like I said, England were, in my opinion, just quite lucky to get the goal, in the first place. And as we say, it's the substitutions that kind of killed England anyway in the end, man. But going on to Argentina. Listen, look, I'm not going to sit here and act like Argentina again were great because I don't think that they were. It really was Messi and pray, kind of thing. But I will give a bit more props to Enzo Fernandez and McAllister. You guys already know I cuss McAllister all the time. I think he's rubbish. But in this game, I thought McAllister was good. I thought Romero was good as well. I really, really liked it. It was Romero, McAllister, and Enzo Fernandez. Those are the performances I really liked from an Argentina perspective. Romero, I felt like he was really assured at the back there. There was that little move you guys will remember where it looked like he was going to be under pressure, just calmly passed his way out of it. But just in general, I thought, yeah, he was actually pretty decent, at the back there. I didn't really feel like he was under any level of pressure, whatsoever. Obviously, tactic-wise from England, don't really know, but that's just how the cookie kind of crumbled, right? McAllister, I felt he was pretty decent in the middle of the park, and obviously then drifting out to that kind of left-hand side, I wouldn't say necessarily providing width. I think that was actually more coming from Tagliafico and obviously Simeone over there on that right-hand side. McAllister would then kind of drop into the middle of the park alongside Paredes and Enzo Fernandez. But I felt like the three, like the midfielders, other than Simeone, I don't think he was that good. Paredes, Enzo Fernandez, McAllister, I felt like they were good. I did actually feel like they were good. They were keeping the ball ticking over. I never felt like they were ever panicked. They were just kind of doing what it is that they kind of needed to do. And again, Argentina, I felt, were playing the game that they wanted to play, which is we want to break things up. We want to stop the rhythm. We want to stop the flow. We want to keep possession of the ball. We want to keep probing, even when they went 1-0 down. Not to say that they didn't panic or anything like that. Obviously, there's going to be a level of urgency. But prior to, again, when England did score, prior to them scoring, should I say, I did feel like, they're getting into a bit more of a groove but you've hit them with a sucker punch. So it's almost like boxing. Do you know what I mean? You've hit them, they've gone down, but they're not gone out for the count. It's maybe a 3 or 4, no, we'll say a 5 count. The referee's gotten to 5 and they're slowly getting up. So maybe he touches a 6/7, but they're not knocked out, they're not phased or anything like that. They're just kind of like, oh, that kind of caught me off guard there. All right, let's lock in properly, kind of thing, and let's try and win this, win this battle. And when you've got Messi on your team, what the hell else can you do? What else can you do, man? He's Lionel Messi for a reason. He is Lionel Messi for a reason, man. I could wax lyrical about this guy forever, but we know what gone when it does come to someone like Lionel Messi. But yeah, listen, man. I think overall, yeah, I think the better team won. Argentina, in my opinion, deserved it. England, again, like I said, man, it's the same old England, man. It's like I said, it's built into England's DNA. It is so built into England's DNA, like it's ridiculous. Like, I don't think you understand it. It does not matter what manager you get. It doesn't matter what you try and do, whether you bring those kind of players, a Phil Foden, a Cole Palmer, whether you don't bring them, it doesn't matter. It's built into England's DNA. England's DNA is of close but no cigar kind of thing. It's like, oh, maybe, and everyone gets gassed about it's coming home and this, that, and the third. But it's the reality is England are not good enough. They are not good enough, unfortunately. It doesn't matter what anybody wants to say about this was always going to happen in some way, shape, or form. England just was not winning this game. That's just how it was always going to be. The second they come up against some level of decent opposition, there is this like inferiority complex. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, is it inferiority or superiority? Now you guys got me thinking. It's late at night, guys. It's all 1 o'clock in the morning and that. Apologies. Anyways, moving on. Might talking to myself, but moving on. Like, there's this thing with England when you come up against these kind of teams. It's like it's even gotten to someone like Tuchel as well, and I think that's also what's so weird. But it almost reinforces exactly what I was thinking, which is, yeah, this is just doctored into your DNA as a nation. Like you're I don't want to say, I mean, you're definitely failures. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you're definitely failures at that in itself. That much is true, and we've seen it. Well, for those who are alive at 1966, do you know what I'm saying? Like you've seen it ever since then, right? But it's becoming a thing now because Tuchel gave it a big one when he kind of came in, and he was all talking about, yeah, I think I saw the clip about him talking when he first came into England, and England not having a style, not having an identity. I couldn't really tell you what England's style or identity was this tournament. They were absolutely shit defensively. So let's say they're not defensively solid, but that's okay. No, not a problem. They're not a team who keep possession well. They're not a team who are that great on transitions. I don't really know what that style was. And the thing is, you got so many different players in your squad who all play for all different teams, who all play different kind of styles. I don't think it's ever going to work like that. Keep telling you, bruv, like these teams, and listen, there's always going to be outliers and stuff like that. And there's always going to be exceptions to the rule. So Argentina might be one where it's like, well, they've got Messi. So it's like, we don't necessarily need a style, but you have a style, but we don't, it doesn't need to be anything crazy. It just needs to be something and enough to get it kind of working. France, I mean, trying to think what their style of play was. I mean, when they last won it in 2000, was it 18? Maybe transitional kind of team, I would say. Mbappe on the transition, hold up play. Yeah, you can maybe say they had a little something there. But, I mean, they had some really good players during that. So, but either way, cool, they had that. Spain, we know what theirs are. Germany, we know what theirs was. We know what Brazil's was when Brazil were actually good. I just feel like with England, you have no identity. And that more speaks towards the nation as a whole, to be fair, actually. I've always felt like England don't have a culture of their own. They don't really have anything of themselves. It is quite everybody's culture that they kind of take in, which, listen, is great for people like myself, especially. It's really, really good. But if we're just talking in context of football, that's where I've always felt you're going to continuously fail until that is one of the things that you sort out. Amongst other things, that's one of the things you need to sort out. There's a reason that a team like Spain will get to a final. There's a reason that Spain have won, what is it now, 3-4 trophies in the last 16 years or whatever it is. I think I saw before this game. There's a reason behind these kind of things. They also had to change things. They weren't, you know what I mean? They were like England. They were failures. You get what I'm trying to say? I don't think they had even won a World Cup prior to that. So they were also failures, that they had to change things. They needed things to be done a lot differently. You can see why Germany were complaining that Pep Guardiola had changed things. Why? Because you changed it from what was actually originally working. Now you're getting someone like a Jurgen Klopp. Okay, we're going back to the essence of our nation. What does our nation do well? Whatever that is, I don't know, but whatever that is, what do England do well? I think that's a question for everybody. What do people think England do well? What is it? Like, I would love to know, what is it that England as a nation, footballing nation, what do they do well? What do they have that they can say, this is our style kind of thing that we can bring to the table? Because I don't really know at this moment in time. And I don't think, anybody else who's currently in the England setup knows. And I think that's why it was a case of Bellingham having to have the tournament of his life. I don't even think Messi was even that good. He's not even been that great this tournament. Obviously, it's Messi, but you know what I'm saying? He's not been that great. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, it's honestly, man, you can go on and on and on. I probably will do another video looking at England, because there's a few things you got to talk about with England, the striker situation. Because I mean, I'm sorry, but you ain't got no other strikers, like, at all. Not even any coming through. It's getting dark. It's getting real dark, man. But listen, Argentina through to the final, England through to the third place playoff. So question I would like to know, or would like answered, please let me know in the comment section. When you come fourth, what do you get? Like, I really want to know, what do people get when they finish fourth? So no one seems to know the answer. I said flowers, but I feel like they don't give out flowers at the end of a game, right? That'd be kind of dead. And then obviously third place, they do get a medal, right? I'm sure third place gets a medal. I can't remember. I really can't remember. Let me know. Let me know in the comment section. But also, let me know how you're feeling after the game. Anyway, air your grievances here. Air your grievances here, people. Keep the same energy. Stay blessed. And I'll catch you guys soon. Peace.